season. I mean, they've been hot and cold. They've had their good and bad weeks, but they've struggled to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks, right? And if you struggle to get pressure on guys like Joe Burrow, I mean, he's going to pick you apart all day long. Joe Burrow by himself is nasty, but then you throw in guys like Jamar Chase, Higgins, Yoshivas, who has actually been really fun player, really underrated, filling in for that Tyler Boyd slot receiver role really nicely. Their offense line has been better, not great, but it's enough for Burrow to get that ball out quick. And then the key is for the Bengals is to get the pressure on Jalen Hurts. Their defensive line really showed up in a big way last week, and that's the key for them for the rest of the season. If the Bengals want to make that postseason, if they want to get anywhere, they're going to have to get pressure that defensive line. Trey Hendrickson, one of the better defensive ends in the league, and going to the Eagles, right? Let's talk about third downs. Third downs are an issue. That's one glaring thing for the Eagles. What were they? 1-12, 1-13 third downs last week. It was something like that, right?
Yeah, it was a very poor statistic there. And the Eagles on its own, right? They have when you talk about third downs, they really have the inability to they haven't been able to move the ball as quick as they've been wanting to in drives. And when it comes to the Eagles on its own, right? Jalen Hurts, he's been a pretty good quarterback, right? He hasn't turned over the ball as much as you say, like maybe in previous years. I think this year's been much better at kind of securing that football. And, they're number 7 in yards per run with Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, that addition has been excellent for that Eagles offense to be able to get moving. But the Bengals are number 12 in stopping the run, in allowing yards per carry. So, again, the Bengals could stop the run. But when it comes to the Bengals on its own, they're 3-4 team. They kind of got unlucky in the beginning of the year, right? 0-3 to start out the year. And considering all their losses have been by, one possession or less, it's very hard for me to see a 17-point win by the Eagles. And I think I agree with you. I think this is piping hot. It's a really hot take if you want to say the Eagles are going to win by a lot in a blowout fashion, right? I think Eagles are going to have to be clicking on all cylinders, especially their takeaways. They are poor. They're number 32 in the league, dead last in takeaways. They're not really good at getting turnovers at all on defense. So I think that's just something to be aware of, that, they're not getting good at getting those turnovers. And while they are good in that rushing attack, maybe milking that clock, getting time of possession, I just think it's going to be very hard for this Eagles team to get a blowout win against this Bengals team.
Yeah, you know what? Like you said, running that football, that's not going to work to their advantage this game. You're playing Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is very capable of getting out quick, getting just getting that lead early. If they try and play like that, pound the football and try to choke that clock, they're playing against themselves. They're going to lose some games themselves because. And on top of that, like you said, they can't get the turnover, so they can't steal possessions efficiently. And they can't afford to lose time. They have to get down that field and they have to keep up with Joe Burrow. Not sure if Jalen Hurts can do that. AJ Brown has been awesome as always. Devontae Smith, yeah, I mean, they've been injured. They're still coming back from injury, so it's understandable. But I mean, the Eagles are going to have to look like the Eagles of the Super Bowl year to pull something off like this, and they're not that. So piping hot, we both agreed there. So next hot take, go for it.
Oh, the next hot take is